Previously on F.E.A.R. 2, a man named Sergeant Beckett was courted by one demonic entity named Alma. Taking place in a fallout after the first F.E.A.R. game, Alma was hungry, but not hungry in the type for souls. Hungry in the type for groin. Military man groin, that is. Alma, being a woman of conviction, knew she had to get things done, so she pinned him down and rode him hard. Because I guess in Alma's world, consent is just a suggestion. Even though Sergeant Becker had done everything in his power to try to quell the evil taking over the world, the power of a woman with a fine vagina, nice boobies, and the ability to pin a man down and take advantage of him is just too powerful for this world. Leading to the impregnation of Alma, the ultimate demon entity is now brewing inside of her. Demon spirit, or whatever you want to call it. It is now there, brewing silently inside of her womb.
The way you said womb dried me up so hard.
Hey, come on, I'm just trying to add a little bit of pizzazz here. On top of that, you're a hologram. You can't get wet anyway.
Ew, ableism. God, you reek of privilege. But at least we get to find out what happens to my sweet baby boy Beckett.
Well, kinda. I guess we kinda find out what happens to Beckett.
Oh, don't tell me they kill him off.
Oh, they definitely kill him off. They kill him off quite unceremoniously, in fact. It just kind of, they put him in the game just to kill him off.
Well, did he at least get his final blaze of glory, his last heroic triumph?
Not even in the slightest. No, Point Man's brother just forces his way into old Beckett's head, just shoves himself right in there. No lube, no consent, just blasts his way in there and makes him relive his whole trauma of not having consent previously. Yeah, while he's reeling on the floor in pain, he makes a little stand-up to kind of like stand for his last causes, while then his head starts to expand, and then, yep, you guessed it, the dude's head explodes.
Wait, if he dies, who's gonna raise this baby?
Calm your blue taint, Cortana, because that's what we're here to talk about in F.E.A.R. 3. F.E.A.R. 3 firmly puts you back in the feet of the Point Man, the main protagonist from F.E.A.R. 1. Now, you might be wondering, King Jiffy, have you played F.E.A.R. 1? No, not even a little bit. Alright, you'll need to calm your asses down. I don't need to play the first one yet. I'm saving it for a special occasion when I get my gimp suit and everything ready. Why do you need a gimp suit, King Jiffy? Because there's nothing gayer than getting lubed up in slow motion in a warehouse. All jokes aside, when I first did my F.E.A.R. 2 video, F.E.A.R. 2 was on sale on the Xbox. I'd always heard the F.E.A.R. series was good, said I'll buy it and make a video on it. Now, was the video any good? I don't know, dude. I was early in the YouTube world. I really didn't know what I was doing quite for jokes, tempo, pacing, all the gay shit that you need to succeed in this little world of the internet. I did not have yet, so I really was kind of going in blind. Well, after I fell in love with F.E.A.R. 2, I went into F.E.A.R. 3 with a lot of expectations that I was going to love this game, only to get shoved into these guys' whole world. I don't know these characters. I have no previous knowledge of these guys. There's just kind of a dude with a hole in his head and a guy getting the shit kicked out of him. Now, I falsely thought that this guy was the guy from F.E.A.R. 2 until that Beckett scene that I've already shown. I honestly thought he was the guy. I didn't realize that he was the Point Man. He didn't have a fucking name because he didn't deserve one, I guess? I'm just kidding. I know that the Point Man is a cool name and is a cool monicum for having in the game. It's just a cool thing altogether. I get it. Don't get mad in the comments because I'm making jokes, you fucking taint wagons. But if there's one thing so far I can take away from F.E.A.R. 3 is the fact that even the opening stuff I've talked about in the opening cutscene is one thing's important, and that is
family, 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 family.
Okay, I'm being a little bit fucking off there. It's not all about family. This isn't your normal Fast and Furious family dynamic where everybody's got each other's back. Nah, this is more My Name is Earl before he found the list of karma. If they were all raised by the same people who raised 11 in Stranger Things, that's the kind of family dynamic we're talking about here. My name is the Point Man. My mommy likes to impregnate people against their will. Your brother obliterates everybody inside of your cell in this fully vacant prison. Only people that are here are you and a bunch of guards. It doesn't really seem like that great of a jail. It's kind of falling apart. I don't know where this jail is, if it's in your mom's asshole or nobody wants to talk about your mom's asshole. That thing is a labyrinth in and of itself. It would be much scarier than this prison. This prison is kind of boring, if I have to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, I understand what it's trying to do here. It's trying to do the whole I'm coming back to the roots type deal. We're back in F.E.A.R. 1. We're playing as the F.E.A.R. 1 guy. We're back to the warehouse type aesthetic. Oh, don't you member? It's got member berries jizzing on your forehead. But it kind of sucks when you go from F.E.A.R 2 that was an aesthetically pleasing as shit game. The aesthetics chirruped everywhere, dude. It was the right kind of bukkake when you're talking about an aesthetically pleasing game. To then this kind of boring, piss-filtered, sad-looking cover Call of Duty knockoff of what F.E.A.R used to be. Now, I don't hate all of this. In fact, I think the gameplay is actually fairly solid in this whole experience. I have to say, I was having myself a lot of fun. It is a lot of turn your brain off, engage with the mechanics, and just go ham wild. It's not bad. It's completely functionally sound in almost every aspect of its gameplay. You will not find a point of this game where it doesn't feel good, at least. That is something that I can say that this game does that a lot of bad sequels don't. The problem with this game isn't the gameplay and its cool clip firing, Call of Duty bouncing around, cover, slow motion mechanics. It's with its storytelling. The storytelling in this game is all over the fucking place. For example, you see this fucking spider monkey monster bouncing around, then you get guns pulled on. You're like, ooh, there was a spider monkey outside. I'm probably gonna fight that spider monkey. That spider monkey's probably gonna harvest its teeth on my thighs and deep throat my cock. And then I watch you just obliterate all these soldiers? Come on, man, this is sick. Only the problem is it really doesn't address this for a very fucking long time. You go back to just fighting soldier guys. But I don't want to talk about the soldier guys. I want to get into why this is so cool. This game could have been amazing if it would have just focused on this shit. You got a giant monster ripping things up, and then you're just left to fight soldiers for 14 hours while your mom's giving birth someplace having fucking contraptions? I don't think so. No, so we then later in the game start to get some background on what's going on, and we start to see the ins and outs of what the point man and his brother had to go through as children.
That's fucked up.
Surprising to nobody, this isn't a happy childhood. You got kids drawing all over the floor, going absolutely schizo. Point man character's actually low-key worried about his brother. Whenever they take him, he's constantly looking at the door, worried that they're doing something all sorts of hunky-punky to him, because he knows they live in the rough life of living in P. Diddy's basement. And somewhere along the line, they actually broke his brother, and now his brother is too dangerous for him to even be in the room. And this guy just starts going absolutely hog wild. Yeah, he's been drawing on the floors, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, he's schizo looking at walls. But now his mom decides that her visitation rights need to be met. You deadbeat dads out there don't know what visitation rights are. It's when you come to visit your child that you haven't seen since you left to get the milk. I'm looking at you, black community. White trailer park guys, you guys seem to just be akin to not visiting your children. I have to say, thank God the mom showed up, because this kid was watching way too much news. The dude watched so much Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson that he's having an internal battle within himself because of mainstream media. So the mom had to show up as a little girl to be like, hey, I'm your friend and your mom. That's the best way to parent, is actually not to parent and just be the kid's friend, because that always leads to good things. You might think what you're seeing on screen is quite wild. I've never seen a kid like that before in my life. I am friends with my kid and they do not act that way. I swear to God, every person like that at a store with their child has their kid throwing a tantrum on the floor just like this SOB. This is why he wants to kill the point man, because in his mind he thinks he's deserved to be an only child, and his brother's only there to be his little bitch. And as for everybody else, well, they need to hear his head scream so loud that their own heads pop. That's right, this dude just throws such a tantrum that he starts popping everybody's head that tries to come in his room. Which I can't blame the kid, considering they're trying to give him the old Bill Cosby special and trying to put him down with some trank darts. And though I feel for the kid being put in this situation, I also feel a little bad for these evil soldiers, because of the fact that they probably just went to work, they had some shitty paying jobs, they finally got this good gig for the government. They're like, yeah, we're finally getting that government pension, we're getting that government health care, we're getting all this good shit, only to go to work and watch their best friend Ted get his head fucking blown up by a child. You start to go through this whole little dream sequence and start to find out these little pieces. They throw a little bit earlier in the game, but I'm gonna let you know, most of the like heavy duty lifting of the story happens in like the last 30 minutes of this game. It's not that they don't leave some seeds in, but it's mostly just shoot zombie guys guys, shoot military guys, and then you get to the cool stuff. And this cool monster that's been popping up the whole time, you start to see him pretty heavily once you see the type of experiments that they do on these kids that drive them to popping military Ted's head off. And I think that they're the sons of the scientist guy. I think that he was like, okay, I'm gonna impregnate Alma, I'm gonna have these baby boys because Alma's got some psychic powers, we're gonna make these children, we're gonna do a bunch of experiments on them and try to get them to become super soldiers. And that's kind of the premise of what's going on until you finally have that knockdown drag out with the scientist entity himself. Yeah, the spider monkey monster that was coming all over the place, now he is giant and he wants to come on you. Actually, he wants to throat you, and you gotta shoot the back of his throat where it lights up because of all the callicized semen that's in there. It kind of shines off of the sunlight. If there's one thing I know about crystallized semen in somebody's throat, when you shoot it with a rifle, the top of their head starts to shine. It doesn't kill them, but their head starts to shine. This boss fight, however, was really fun. All jokes aside, all stupidity, I like the way that you hit the bright spot. It's very simplistic in that way. You hit the shiny spot, you then get them really weak, some soldiers pop up so you can kill them and get some ammunition from them so you can keep killing the big monster. It's a fun little boss fight. It's a great story moment. This is the type of atmosphere I had begged the game for all the way up until this point. It was just like finally giving me what F.E.A.R 2 gave me. What F.E.A.R 2 did so well was it was atmosphere. It was like I was playing first person Dead Space, but with a sexy bitch trying to molest me. And F.E.A.R 3 up until this point was like, yeah, we're a Call of Duty game with some monsters sometimes. Yeah, we have monsters sometimes and they show up, and then at the last 30 minutes it's like, remember, this is a F.E.A.R game. I know you fucking forgot. I know you forgot it was a fucking F.E.A.R game, but we're back, baby, and here's a giant monster for you to fight. Look, you could shoot his chest. Remember when he probably did really naughty things to you as you guys were children? Yeah, well, now you gotta take your anger out and finally put that aggression to good use. Time to put your dad down. That's right, father, you can suck it. Like, totally, you never understood me anyways. You were always like, come on, Jimmy, get into the stirrup so I can test on you some more. I just want to listen to Blink 182 and just skateboard, man, but you don't understand me with your fucking glasses and mustache and shit. I really don't like you because you were like not good to mom. I don't even know how you and mom met each other, but mom seems to understand my pain. We're on the topic of the mom. This starts to really heat up in the last seconds either. Anyway, you forget that she exists. Again, I was playing this game having a fun time. The gunplay is solid. The whole gameplay loop of this game is admittedly fun, but you really don't see anything cool till the last 30 minutes. When you're even going through the missions, you start to see the aesthetic of what's happening on the city, and the fact that every contraction she has seems to break the reality of the world you're in, which is cool, and I wish they would have built off that even more. This isn't even that long of a campaign, but it feels like they did a lot of fucking work in these last 30 minutes. They are just hitting you with everything but the kitchen sink. We even have a menstruation lake in front of us. Everybody loves that bloody time of month when we come up with our vampire fangs, bro, and we're getting that in full force in this game on our own mother in the ocean. What are we talking about? This is cool shit here. And when you finally do get to your mom, your brother's like, we're going to use the baby for evil. And it sucks that Beckett never actually got to raise his child. I get that it is not a normal baby of normal means, and the fact that she kind of like forced it out of him. Still, I thought he deserved a chance to be a father, but nah, now you got the two fucking weird uncles arguing over who the baby's going to belong to. You got the one with the bullet hole in his head that, let's be honest, a ghost isn't a good father. I mean, that's just like going and getting a pack of cigarettes. You knew your dad existed at one time because a dad is needed to make the baby, but come on, this is what we're ended with, is bullet hole daddy or point man dad who really just watched your own dad die because he didn't want to stop his own brother. Yeah, this is a great family dynamic, let me fucking tell you, bud. Up until this point, I fully thought that the point man's goal was to kill this baby. I thought that was going on. I thought we were trying to kill the rape baby. I thought that it was like the ultimate evil that was going to take down all of society. I mean, just giving birth to it almost disrupted the whole universe. So we're just gonna let this thing live? Now, I'm not the fullest pro-abortion guy, but hey, I'm always pro-abortion when it comes to rape, you know? That seems pretty fair. But at the same time, this bitch is about to pop. I mean, she's glowing, and not glowing in the the kind of, ooh, you're about to have a baby. Nah, this bitch literally looks like she shoved 87 flashlights up her vagina. To be honest with you, I really don't know how to feel about any of this. I was kind of sitting here like, yeah, dude, this is happening. This is a real thing, I guess. It just is so much so fast. You just found out your father was an evil scientist who was testing on you. Your brother likes to blow people's heads up. Decker just unceremoniously died after not mattering the entire game. And then you watch your mom give birth to your stepbrother, who she literally pulled the coom out of a guy to make. Then you're just like, yeah, dude, fuck it, I'll raise this kid. I'm going to be a good dad because I have showed the quality of being a good father up until this point. I might as well raise it. It's the right thing to do. I don't know. It's a lot really, really fast. You see, there's a lot of things that could have been added up into this that are built onto a grander narrative, but instead they were just like, yeah, here's all of it. Fuck it. Just here it all is. Take it all. And it's kind of sucks because, like, I feel like they put a lot of good ideas into the gameplay. Yes, is it rinse and repeat from the other games? Absolutely. A lot of ties from Fear 2 into this game. Like, you start in a little mech and you go through houses and you tear people up. You started in a little mech in the last game. Then later you get in a bigger mech and you fight bigger mechs in battle. Whoa, that's cool. Wait, didn't I do that in Fear 2? Absolutely. It's just shinier and works a little bit better now. And you're like, alright, I can deal with that. It's not like I'm complaining about this. When I was playing this game, I don't think there's a single moment where I'm not having fun. But in terms of enemy variety, it's way worse than Fear 2. In terms of level design, way worse than Fear 2. In terms of just about everything, it's worse than Fear 2. It's not a bad game, but it feels like a fucking DLC. Like, basically, it breaks down to 3 enemy types, right? You got your military guys and their military shit. You got your little dog monsters, which are probably the most original monster looking thing in this game. They kind of still suck, though, because they just kind of sprint at you, and there's always a lot of them. So if you don't have a machine gun or a shotgun, you're toast. I mean, you always have a machine gun or shotgun, but it's just like you have to have the right weaponry to be able to backtrack and shoot them. A very Serious Sam style in terms of how you deal with these enemies. They're just kind of fine. They're fine. They're fun for engaging mechanics in the game, but in terms of a cool-looking enemy, they leave a lot to be lacking. They don't really get you chubbed up the way you need to when you're playing a game of this caliber. And then, really, the only cool enemy in this game that I thought was really original was this weird teleporting blue guy. I don't remember if these guys were in Fear 2. You'll have to let me know in the comments and while you're down there liking shit. But in this game, they really just kind of pop up a lot. The only problem is they were very bullet spongy, and they kind of suck to fight, but they always carry really cool weapons, and they're kind of original. I like the way they had to break their shield like they're fucking Master Chief or something. The best weapon against these guys is honestly the riot shield. If you have the riot shield on in this game, you're god. I'm not even messing with you. I'm not a riot shield guy. Usually I see a riot shield and try to avoid it like the plague. Once I put this bastard on me and this absolute great experience of using a riot shield, it is so much fun. You zoom in on the guy instead of on the gun you're using, so you don't pull the riot shield off you like a lot of games would do. You just kind of focus in harder on the guy with the riot shield and just non-stop chaos constantly. The riot shield rocks, that's all I want to say. The cover mechanics kind of suck though. The cover mechanics, this game wants you to utilize cover mechanics more than I feel like any other Prey. Gone are the days where the level design wants you to both utilize cover and move around on your target. There's a lot of linear bullshit here, where for the most part my slow motion wasn't even used for cool slow motion shots, but just to get a better line from my cover position, which I don't feel like is a good way to use slow motion. Yeah, it's convenient when you have a lot of enemies and you want to pick off a couple early and use a portion of slow motion to get a couple good shots lined up, but you kind of default on cover, then hit long shot with slow motion. I didn't love that. It felt just more like adding slow motion to a Call of Duty campaign, and I know that people had that critique of Fear 2, but I never felt like Fear 2 was a Call of Duty campaign. Not once. It felt like it was an atmospheric horror game with great combat mechanics where I was constantly moving and grooving. The crazy monster enemy design in Fear 2 really made you move and utilize the surroundings. The zombies weren't boring fucking zombies like they are in this. Everything in this just feels like a step back from what the other 2 games did. Now, I know that people claim that Fear 2 was a step back from Fear 1, and I haven't played Fear 1, so I might find out they're absolutely 100% factual. But what they did narratively with Fear 2 and atmospherically, I thought was just awesome. And that was their goal. They said after Fear 1, they wanted to bring more of the atmospheric horror bullshit into the game. They really wanted to juice that bitch up. And I feel like they succeeded on that 100%. This just felt like they were like, let's put co-op in it. Let's make it some multiplayer. Well, what about the campaign? Well, we'll make it more like Call of Duty. We'll make it faster and just like not faster at the same time. What do you mean? I don't know. We're just gonna fucking do a game. We're doing the game. And I don't think Monolith made this one, so you can definitely feel where there's that diversion where it just kind of feels like a fucking DLC. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a really good tech demo for what Fear 3 could have been. The most atmospheric section of this whole thing is when you first run into the zombies and you get this like whole little running through an apartment complex section. It doesn't seem to last very long, and you go right back to normal shit after it, so it really just felt like nothing. It was like the big grand thing before you get to the first big grand thing, but it never really went anywhere. And the zombies are really boring. They're just 28 days later zombies that charge at you. Why? When we had fucking things that crawled off the ceiling and attacked you early in Fear 2, why are the zombies so boring and spongy and just think that they're all fucking Conor McGregor? It's another one of those things where mechanically it's sound as fuck, but in terms of storytelling and world building, it does absolutely jack and shit for the main narrative. Absolutely nothing that you're doing really feels like it matters to the fucking narrative, other than when your brother comes up and is like, remember I'm evil. And that's right, when you beat this game, you can actually play as your brother. I tried it for like 2.5 seconds and didn't like it. It's like, imagine a Fear game where you're not using slow motion and just like occupying people's headspace and utilizing their guns and popping person to person like that weird horror game that came out a few years ago. I don't remember what it was called, but the whole point was you're jumping into different bodies. That shit looked cringe, and it looks cringe and is cringe in Fear 3. Now, I can see that there would be some fun ideas if the story's actually diverted in different directions, but you're literally just going over the same rinse and repeat shit, just with different mechanics completely. Now, what would have made for a good campaign in this would have been if, one, you're playing as Point Man, and two, you're playing as Decker. So you're seeing these two are Beckett, not Decker. Beckett, you fucking moron. God, how can you even call yourself a video game reviewer when you can't even get the name right, King Jiffy? I don't fucking give a fuck. So tell me in the comments, you pussy ass little cunt. Just breathe, man. Just breathe. You're turning into G-Man way too fast. I don't need to be getting hostile over my audience just because they didn't watch my Barbie video. No, I'm kidding. G-Man's a solid guy. I think he liked this game too, and I feel in the same vein. I think if I go back to what I was saying with Beckett, I think if they would have taken Beckett and they taken Point Man and had two very different experiences and two different diversions to where you're going, and then you had to choose who you were going to be with. One of them's optimal goal was to kill the baby and the others wasn't to, and you had that turmoil of whether it's okay to kill the baby and whether it's not, and gone to like a more meta talking point about abortion in and of itself. That could have been a really cool idea, but that would have called for some nuance and actual hardcore storytelling and narrative design, and I don't think these guys had it in them, to be honest. Whoever made this game did not, I think, that far ahead. They just said, yeah, dude, we're just gonna do shit. We're gonna do shit, and remember the other two Fear games? They were cool. Now, what if we made it Call of Duty? I know I've said that a few times, but again, I like Call of Duty. I like that it worked in this game. I just don't think that they absolutely nailed the head on the tip of the penis, you know? I don't think they really sucked and fucked. They more just clucked and ducked, you know? It works, it's fun, but it just really doesn't hit where I need it to hit. But that's all I got on Fear 3, guys. I know this is a bit of a shorter one. I guess if you call 20-something minutes short, I don't really know the time span of things when we got Marvel movies lasting 3 hours. I don't fucking know what time is anymore, guys. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.